Washington State Gothic. There is a coffee shop where there was not a coffee shop yesterday. Tomorrow, there will be another somewhere else. You will try to return, and it will be gone. You think it's following you. There is only ever one coffee shop. You are driving and there are trees. They are all the same. You drive past miles and miles and miles of trees. You are driving west. You know that this is the only way out of the trees. There are only trees. There are always the same trees. In every city you visit, they ask you where you're from. You say, the other side of the mountains. They're confused and they do not trust you. Everyone knows there's nothing on the other side of the mountains. The road curves and curves, always in the same direction. The road is infinite, looping back to its own start. You do not know where you are, and you do not know how you got here. You follow the road. In the cities, you hear seagulls. You hear the rush of the ocean, but you cannot see it. The smell of salt air stays with you always, in your clothes, in your lungs. It clings until you can no longer detect it. The cold ocean is never far. It waits. It is raining constantly. Clouds and fog obscure the sun, and you cannot remember the feeling of its light. Only striped layers of shadows through the trees and buildings. In the next town over, the rain has vanished. There, they do not know shade. Drive to another town on the endless road. The weather will be different there. You have seen the same man walk by you in the same direction countless times each day. He is always wearing the same clothes. He is always holding the same drink. Nothing ever changes. The people all look the same, and they never look at you. You're afraid, but it would be worse if they were different. To the north, there is nothing. To the east, there is endless empty space. To the south are only mysteries and whispers. The water is to the west. The water is the end. You drive outside of Seattle. You drive for an hour. There are fields, farms, orchards. Another hour. Foothills, mountains, snow. Another hour. Desert, farmland, cows, apples, hops, apples, cherries, apples, corn, more apples. Everything is apples and farmland. You stop and buy some apples on the side of the road. You keep driving. You have not left the state. You will never leave the state. The mountain looms over the skyline. There are a few clouds in the sky today. The mountain is out. People stop in their tracks on the city streets. The mountain is out. They smile and laugh. A man steps out of an office building and turns to you with a smile. The mountain is out, he says. It's beautiful today. You agree. You walk into a Starbucks. You tell the barista that the mountain is out. She should see it. There is a Starbucks on every corner. There is a Seattle's Best on every sidewalk. There is a Tully's on every block. There is also a Café Ladro, a Fuel, and on every street, a drive-through coffee stand with a pun in the name, or a bikini-wearing girl serving drinks. Do you want to get coffee? You don't much like coffee. There is a little festival in your neighborhood every year. It is called the Strawberry Festival, or the Cherry Festival, perhaps the Apple Festival. No fruit grows here. Nothing but houses grow from the soil. You are at a fancy restaurant. It overlooks the water and has a salmon on the logo, or maybe a boat. Probably a salmon, though. A man at the next table is angry. He says Columbus Day is more important than Indigenous Peoples Day. You order the salmon. Before the man leaves, he uses the words Puyallup, Squim, Skagit, Kitsap, and Tulalip. Seattle is built on Phil. Seattle is built on Seattle. Seattle is sinking. East of the mountains, we glow in the dark. West of the mountains, we grow webbed feet. There is a nuclear site built on the remains of Native American houses. Every fall you go to the fair. It is huge with food and vendors and animals and crafts and competitions and rides and blue ribbons and prizes from games. It is a wonderful place. They housed more than 6,000 Japanese Americans here after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. But it is a fun place. The bus is late. The bus is always late. The bus is so late it might as well be the next bus. The next bus is late. Your umbrella is useless here. The city released a great mechanical beast, all metal with a drill for a nose, under the city. This is not a good idea, the newspaper said. Seattle is built on Phil, people said. There are great rocks underground dropped by glaciers, scientists said. This is not a good idea. The great drill was released. We named her Bertha. Bertha is 57 feet tall. Bertha is trapped. What did she find so deep underground? You drive an eco-friendly car and you recycle, but you leave the lights on all night, just in case. You find yourself lost in an endless sea of coffee shops, unable to tell counters apart, trapped in a tightly woven web of independently owned shops next to smaller chains, kiosks in every open place they can be wedged. You lose time, lose sleep, and in your delirium, you fill another punch card, redeem your free latte, and continue your fruitless search for a way out. There's a Starbucks down the street. There's always a new Starbucks down the street. No one's ever heard of your favorite band, because they don't exist. You could have sworn they did. You had all their records, real records on vinyl. You're a collector, just last week. But they're gone now. You try telling a friend to look them up, but you find yourself unable to remember the name. On sunny days, you feel ill at ease. Some things should not be seen in such clear light. Your eyes are not adjusted to such brightness. Your neighbors, your friends, even you, discuss proudly how progressive and open-minded you are, how different this place is from the rest of America. As they decline, we shake our heads, grateful to live in such a liberal utopia. Here, things are greener. Here, people are kinder. We don't have dark secrets. You smile, because the state history curriculum doesn't talk about the laws that stayed on book for far longer than we care to admit. You laugh, blissful in ignorance, or in avoidance, of the fact that we are no better, no brighter than anywhere else. You tell yourself you're a good person who doesn't judge on appearances. You applaud yourself for your open-mindedness. There must be another reason you feel so disquieted when someone who looks too different from you gets too close to you in public. Mount St. Helens begins to smoke. Something stirs at the bottom of Crater Lake. There's a wailing sound coming from behind Multnomah Falls. A friend mentions that they've been hiking a lot lately. You say you'd love to get out there more. It's just hard to find the time. The truth is, you'll never forget what you saw out there, in the deep part of the woods, at twilight, having long lost the trail. There's a flavor you just can't place in the newest limited edition holiday ale from your favorite microbrewery. You buy another six-pack and drink until you can't taste it anymore. You laugh at the religious, but then again, some part of you wonders if it would be easier to sleep at night believing something, anything, was looking out for you. Children are on a field trip to watch the salmon run, their flesh deteriorating from their living bodies as they beat themselves against the rocks in a macabre last battle upstream to lay their eggs where they first hatched. The children watch for hours in the cold as the fish, some almost as big as they are, fight to reach their spawning grounds before their bodies fail and fall to pieces. On the bus ride home, they laugh as if they had seen nothing.